Sure.
Okay, so hello everyone, it's Evian from DST. It's very glad to be here. Thanks Abby for inviting me and didn't reject my proposal. I feel like I don't know, because actually I was worried about sharing this topic because for those who already know what the meaning of the word, you may wonder why I chose this topic to share. It is because recently I met a new friend. She's a professional in BDSM, and actually I had a chance to talk to her about how this whole thing works. And actually, what the concept, the whole description she told me actually changed my impression of BDSM. So I think it's also a very rare chance to share my thinking of this topic. And so that. And let's talk about what is BDSM. So basically, BDSM is a kind of activity, a subculture, which include a variety of practices. So obviously, this is a abbreviation, right? So if you want to know what exactly it means, we have to break it down. So first of all, B stands for bondage, which means tying up or use rope or handcuff to restrain a person's to move, right? And basically, no, let's move on to the second one. D stands for discipline. Usually in this practice, we have two categories. One is dom, which means dominance, and sub means submission. It's like a master and a slave. That's easier to understand, right? And also we have S&M, sadism and masochism. But in few words, I would say is the one who enjoy hurting people, while the other one enjoy being hurt. But it is more complicated on a psychological level, so I'm not going to talk about that. And I can understand why some people connect BDSM with sex, violence, and danger together. I will not deny that, but I want to clarify some of misunderstandings and assumptions in this speech. So let us take a look at the properties, the most important properties in BDSM. First of all is consent. Consent. Before every practice, you need to get a permission from your partner because like what I mentioned, some practices are actually dangerous. So without permission, you might cause harm. You will even crime, you will make it like a crime, right? So it's very important to make sure that your partner is willing to do something with you. And the second one is respect. Like what I mentioned about the consent, about the permission, it is very important to be respectful. Especially you have to remember that we all have a right to say no. And as long as you say no, the other must be respectful to your decision. It's also very important. So it is not only about violence, right? So it's about how to mutually discuss and accept one interest as a hobby. And the most important one is rules. We have to set up rules because some practices does involve danger, and sometimes it can be extremely risky. So it's very important to set out rules. And among the rules, the most important thing is the safe word. We have to set up a safe word. Like for example, if you feel really uncomfortable, you need to say the word, and that everyone will know that things needs to be stopped. And usually the safe word must be something nonsense. For example, like red banana, what? No, this is not. I wish that later, like words like no or stop or 好爽, they will not so that can be joyful, right? So we are hard to separate from the actual discomfort. So where was I? Anyway, we need to setting out the word. That's very important. And without understanding these properties, that's why people usually connect sex, violence, and danger with BDSM. But after you actually understand the inside, you will think, well, that's a kind of interest, like basketball, like visiting the museum. That's just a very normal thing. It just involves some subculture, right? And also, there's a motto prevails among the BDSMer. It's called SSC. Very similar to SC. I'm sorry. SSC. Safe, sane, and consensual. Basically, just the same, just like what I mentioned. You need to be safe. You need to be sane. You need to be consensual and respectful. And the following, I'm going to talk about why BDSM fascinates me pretty much. Warning, there will be color images. This is the works from my friend, like the friend I mentioned. She is the one who tying up people. In Chinese, we had a specific term called 绳师, like the one who maintained the rope. And I think the first time, I still remember the first time I saw these two works, I feel strongly like impressed. It's so beautiful somehow, very artistic, aesthetic, and I feel like rope is like a decoration on them. Like you're wearing a rings, you're wearing a ear. Sorry, I forgot how to say that. Earrings. It's just like a decoration, like a statue, like a artistic art, like just like art, right? So I don't know. So like just seeing this, I feel like I want to know more about BDSM. And also, my friend reminds me that remember how you feel when you see this, because it is very important to jump out from what you originally thought. So from then, I have a different concept about BDSM, and I feel like if we can see this subculture from other way, it can be very impressive. And also, I want to share one of the most precise description about BDSM. Rather than just saying it, I decided to put it on the screen so that everyone can see. An activity in which the participant exercises sensation or emotion that will be unpleasant in a non-erotic context. So, okay. So I think it's inevitable for people who have connection with sex and BDSM, but I would say like it's just a scattered question. It's like a spectrum. It can be strongly erotic, but also it can be non-erotic. It just depends on how you see it. So I think this is a normal activity, and if you are interested in it, I have some resource. I have a source. You want to know more about it. You want to give it a try or something. You want to know more. This is from NTU BDSM College of NTNU King, and that is Taiwanese BDSM Munch. If you can scan it later, or you if you are very interested, we can talk about that later. Okay, then that's the end of my sharing. Thank you. And about my challenging thing recently is to say no, because I'm doing my final project now, and my final project is to